Once upon a time, there was a pig. This pig grew far and wide, and despite the pig's mountainous size, it was a very picky eater with the food it ate. One day, there was a chef who could make the finest food in the land. Hearing this news, the pig invited the chef to his kingdom of slop. The chef tried to make something special, and for a while, the pig was satisfied with the dish. But as time passed on, the pig became dumber and more paranoid with the food he ate. So much so that he banished the chef, but not without stealing the idea of the dish and turning it into slop that no one really wanted. This is a tale of a pig that will never replicate the passion and joys of the one who perfected it. When I grew up, I always loved cartoons and how entertaining they were, and in my day, every cartoon hit different. Danny Phantom, Teen Titans, Spectacular Spider-Man, all shows that unfortunately got canceled. And I hate when that shit happens. It feels like a piece of media that had potential to be more, and just one day it's gone and never seen again. This is the worst feeling. It's like having a great video game, but it just flops after a few months. And there are many cases of video games and shows getting cancelled before they even premiere, like the Wonder Woman video game and the Batgirl movie that was already finished but for some reason gets cancelled immediately. How and why? These two are two different ways of saying what the fuck, because the Wonder Woman game probably was never gonna come out to begin with, because the game had no gameplay or updates for the game at all, so why even announce it if you weren't gonna finish it at all? And the Batgirl movie? Do I have to say more? The movie was already finished, but they decided not to release it. That is so much money wasted from just one decision. Do you want my money, or are you here just to fuck with me? I mean, there's really a in-between. You just gave yourself a lose-lose situation. Are you actively trying to get your company bankrupt? In this day and age, I feel like businessmen, I say that in quotations so you already know how I feel about them. Never in your life pursue a career and get a job as a CEO of said company and look at what the company actually is and what it represents and say that I could change this and I could make this better. I choose what my audience likes instead of what they actually want. The best case of this is Spectacular Spider-Man Peak. Amazing even. The plot peak, and probably has the best adaptation of Peter Parker's life. As you know, Peter's life fucking sucks. He's like one of those dudes that starts off their day feeling like shit, and every moment of that day is just the worst feeling ever. Yeah, that's this guy's life, but times 100, at least in the comics. In this show, his life sucks, but it always ends off in a high note, a good moment. Because life might be shit for this man, but there's always a light under all of that darkness. That no matter what, there's always going to be good moments with a bad moment. But in the comics, I feel like it's just bad moments. Anytime I hear about comic book Spider-Man, it sounds like the most Mark Grayson shit I've ever heard in my entire life. But in the show, I feel like it's more human in the show, if that makes sense. And while I was enjoying the plot lines, the final episode came out and I was blown away by the plot twist in the episode. And it's getting all good, but the worst thing happens. And I want you to guess what happened. It ended in a fucking cliffhanger! Thinking about this shit is just getting me mad. Every nerve in my body is getting pierced for my hatred for Disney. After the success of Spectacular Spider-Man, they thought it would be a good idea to make a less serious Spider-Man story that's primarily focused on comedy. Marvel's Ultimate Spider-Man is a downgrade. I think it's good, but it's a fucking downgrade. And because of this fucking show, Disney thought that instead of renewing a new show for the Spectacular Spider-Man, let's just give them this show and give them something else that no one else wanted. Even though the previous show is several times better. And this is all because of Disney. They bought Marvel, and in typical Disney fashion, they poisoned anything they touched. or try to get associated with. The best thing that a show can do is properly end, because not all things last forever, and having an ending for that show can be a memory that lasts forever in our hearts. Too bad the shows I listed barely had that chance to begin with because of very poor company decisions. Because what? You want your piece of art to be properly put down and you want us to give you an extra season to do that shit? Yeah, sounds about right. And we basically have the power to decide if your show just ends in a cliffhanger, leaving the fan base permanently depressed and resentful of our company? Yeah. Well, sir, go home. And also, go fuck yourself. You're meaningless. Well, sir, please, I need to end my show, please. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. Bye.